The call came at 2:17 a.m. I remember staring at my phone's display, watching my mother's name flash across the screen, my stomach already nodding. Nothing good ever came from middle-of-the-night calls. "My name is Vivienne," and that call changed everything. "He's hurt," Mom's voice cracked through the speaker. "Jackson's hurt bad. The car— Oh God, Vivienne, the car is totaled." I was already pulling on jeans, wedging the phone between my ear and shoulder. "Which hospital?" "Mercy General. Please hurry, and bring your insurance information. The car? It was in your name, wasn't it?" Of course, that's what she focused on. The SUV I'd bought them last Christmas. A family gift, they'd called it, though Jackson had been the one pushing hardest for it. I'd spent months saving up for the down payment, wanting to do something nice for once. "I'm on my way," I said, hanging up before she could spiral into more questions about paperwork. The hospital parking lot was a maze of fluorescent lights and empty spaces. My heels clicked against the concrete as I power walked to the emergency entrance, where I found my mother pacing in circles, her mascara creating dark rivers down her cheeks. "Where is he?" I asked. She grabbed my arm, her fingers digging in. "Treatment room 3. Your father's with him." "But Vivian—" Her voice dropped to a whisper. "There was someone else. The other driver. It's bad." My blood ran cold. "How bad?" "They won't tell us anything. But there was so much blood." She dabbed at her eyes with a crumpled tissue. "The police are here too. They want to talk to Jackson when he's stable." I pushed through the double doors, my mother trailing behind me. Dad stood outside treatment room 3, his face ashen, holding a styrofoam coffee cup that trembled in his grip. "He's awake," Dad said gruffly. "Couple broken ribs, concussion. Could have been worse." Through the window, I could see Jackson on the bed, his face scratched up but recognizable. He was arguing with a nurse about something, his hands gesturing wildly. Typical Jackson. Even flat on his back, he was trying to control the room. A police officer approached us, notebook in hand. "Family of Jackson Barnes?" "Yes," my mother jumped in. "I'm his mother." "Is this about the other driver?" "Mr. Garcia is in critical condition," the officer said flatly, "and we have reason to believe alcohol was involved in the collision." My father's coffee cup crumpled in his fist. "That's ridiculous. My son wouldn't—" "His preliminary blood alcohol level was 0.14, the officer cut in. "More than twice the legal limit. We'll need to discuss the charges once he's medically cleared." Charges. The word hung in the air like smoke. My mother started crying again, and my father's face went from ashen to red. "Vivian," my mother grabbed my arm again, "you'll help, won't you? The car's in your name. Your insurance will cover this. And we'll need a good lawyer." I stared at her, reality crashing down like waves. "Mom, if he was drunk—" "He's your brother," she hissed. "Family protects family. You have that good job, that fancy title. You can afford this." Before I could respond, a doctor emerged from another treatment room, his scrubs spattered with blood. "Family of Emmett Garcia?" An elderly couple rushed forward, the other driver's parents, I assumed. The doctor's voice was low, but words filtered through. "Severe internal bleeding, spinal concerns, medically induced coma." My mother's grip tightened. "Don't you dare say a word to anyone about the car being yours. We'll handle this as a family." I looked through the window at Jackson again. He was now scrolling through his phone, looking annoyed at the IV in his arm. No remorse. No concern for the man he might have killed. The officer approached again. "Ms. Barnes, we'll need to discuss the vehicle registration and insurance details." My mother stepped between us. "My daughter bought us that car as a gift. But she wasn't there. She doesn't know anything." She turned to me, eyes hard despite the tears. "Right, Vivienne?" I opened my mouth, but my father appeared at my other side. "This is your mess to clean up," he said quietly. "You bought the car. You're responsible. Standing there, trapped between them, watching Jackson scroll through social media, while somewhere in this same hospital, a stranger fought for his life because of him. Something inside me snapped. I looked at my mother, then my father, seeing them clearly for the first time. You're right, I said slowly. I am responsible, and I know exactly what I need to do. I spent the next morning in a daze, mechanically answering emails from my kitchen table, while my phone buzzed with endless family messages. Around noon, my doorbell rang. It was Allison, my best friend since college, carrying 2 cups of coffee and wearing her "I'm worried about you" face. Your mom called me, she said, setting the coffee down. 3 times. I rubbed my temples. Let me guess. She wanted you to talk some sense into me about the insurance? Actually, she wanted me to remind you about all the times Jackson was there for you. Her words. Allison's voice dripped with sarcasm. I told her I had to go into a tunnel. He was there for me? I laughed bitterly, opening my laptop. Let me show you something. I pulled up my banking history. Last year alone, $6,000 for his emergency car repairs. $4,000 when he got fired from that startup. $2,000 for that coding boot camp he quit after 2 weeks. Don't forget your parents' mortgage payment, Allison added quietly. Right, because Dad's contracting work hit a slow patch. Again. I slammed the laptop shut. You know what the worst part is? Jackson didn't even have permission to drive that car. Allison's eyebrows shot up. What? The SUV was technically a family gift, but the agreement was clear. Jackson wasn't supposed to drive it. Not after his DUI last year. The one they kept quiet about? The one they made me pay the lawyer for? I took a sip of coffee. But apparently he's been joyriding in it for months. Look at this. I opened Instagram, scrolling to a post from 3 weeks ago. Jackson posed in front of my SUV, keys dangling from his fingers. The caption read, "Borrowed the family ride. Time to show this baby what she can do." My phone buzzed again. Dad. Hello? Your mother's a wreck, he said without preamble. She hasn't stopped crying since you left the hospital. Is she crying about Emmett Garcia? I asked. The man Jackson nearly killed? Don't be dramatic. These things happen. What matters is how we handle it as a family. You mean how I handle it with my checkbook? Don't get smart with me, he snapped. We don't betray family. Remember when you were 17 and wrapped my truck around that tree? Who covered for you then? That never happened, I said slowly. That was Jackson. He blamed it on me, and you all believed him without even asking. Silence on the line. Dad? Well, what's done is done, he muttered. The point is, family stands together. Jackson made a mistake. A mistake? My voice rose. He drove drunk and put someone in a coma. Lower your voice, he hissed. The neighbors will hear. God forbid the neighbors hear the truth, I said, and hung up. Allison watched me carefully. You okay? No. I opened my email. But I'm done being their ATM. A new message popped up from Jackson's girlfriend, Joanna. Subject line, need to talk. I didn't know, her message read. About the car, about any of it. Jackson told me it was his. I have pictures, timestamps, everything, if you need them. Allison read over my shoulder. Well, well, looks like little brother's house of cards is starting to fall. My phone buzzed again. Mom this time, but through text. How dare you hang up on your father? After everything we've done for you. Remember who paid for your prom dress? Your first car? Your braces? I started typing, you mean the prom dress you returned to buy Jackson's gaming console? The car you sold to pay his gambling debts? The braces I'm still paying off because you borrowed my dental fund for his spring break trip? But I didn't send it. Instead, I opened a new document and started making a list. What are you doing? Allison asked. Documenting everything. The car title's in my name. The insurance is in my name. Jackson took the car without permission, with a history of DUI, and my parents enabled it. I looked up at her. You're the lawyer. What does that mean legally? A slow smile spread across Allison's face. It means, my friend, that you're not their safety net anymore. You're their worst nightmare. My phone buzzed one more time. A text from Jackson. Hey sis, when you get a sec, can you call the insurance company? Mom's freaking out about the paperwork. Also, gonna need some cash for a new phone. Mine got smashed in the crash. Love you. I showed it to Allison, who read it and shook her head. He really doesn't get it, does he? No, I said, saving the text as evidence. But he's about to. Allison's law office smelled like leather and coffee. She spread documents across her desk while I watched, each paper another nail in my family's coffin. Vehicle registration, insurance policy, text messages showing unauthorized use. She ticked off each item. And now Joanna's evidence. Vivian, you're not just protected, you have a nuclear option. My phone lit up. Mom again. Sweetheart, please. The hospital bills just came in. They're asking about insurance. We need you. I switched it to silent and turned back to Allison. What about Emmett? Any updates? She pulled up a news article. Still in a coma, but there's something else you should see. The article included a photo of Emmett, not from the crash, but from before. He sat at a piano, surrounded by young students, his face bright with enthusiasm. The caption read, Local music teacher's future uncertain after devastating crash. He taught piano to underprivileged kids, Allison said softly. Pro bono work, mostly. The doctors. They're saying even if he recovers, he might never play again. The nerve damage. My stomach lurched. I remembered Jackson's text about his broken phone, how casually he'd asked for money. Like breaking a man's life was just another oopsie for Big Sister to fix. A knock at the door interrupted us. Allison's assistant poked her head in. Sorry to interrupt, but there's a Mrs. Barnes insisting on coming up. I stood. My mother's here? In the lobby. Should I? No, I said. I'll go down. Mom paced the lobby, clutching her designer purse, the one I'd bought her last birthday. When she saw me, her face crumpled into practiced tears. Why aren't you answering your phone? I've been trying to reach you all day. I'm busy, Mom. Too busy for family? She stepped closer, lowering her voice. The police are talking about criminal charges. Criminal? My baby boy could go to prison. Your baby boy nearly killed someone. It was an accident. Driving drunk isn't an accident. It's a choice. She grabbed my arm. How can you be so cold? This is your brother we're talking about. And what about Emmett? I pulled up the article on my phone, thrust it in her face. What about his students? His family? She barely glanced at it. We'll make it right. That's why we need your help with the insurance. No. The word hung between us. Mom's face went still. What did you say? I said no. I'm not covering this up. I'm not paying for it. I'm done. Done? Her voice rose. Done with what? Your family? The people who raised you? The people who raised me to be their personal bank account? How dare you? She was crying again, but these tears were angry. After everything we've sacrificed, what exactly did you sacrifice, Mom? Name one thing you gave up for me that didn't eventually go to Jackson. You're being ridiculous. You're just jealous because what? Because Jackson's the favorite? Because he gets unlimited chances while I get unlimited bills? You're evil, she whispered. Evil and ungrateful. Your own brother could go to jail, and you're worried about money? No, I said quietly. I'm worried about justice. Her hand flew up. To slap me or grab me. I'm not sure. I caught her wrist before she could do either. Don't, I said. She yanked her hand away, face twisting. You'll regret this. When Jackson's in prison, when our family is destroyed, you'll regret choosing strangers over blood. Blood, I laughed. Blood doesn't excuse what he did. What you're all trying to do. Fine. She straightened, wiping her eyes. Fine. But don't come crying to us when you're all alone. Don't expect forgiveness when you realize what you've thrown away. I watched her storm out, designer purse swinging. My hands were shaking, but my voice was steady when I called up to Allison's office. Still there? Heard the whole thing, she said. You okay? No. I took a deep breath. But I will be. Listen, I need you to do something for me. Name it. Contact Emmett's lawyer. Tell them. I closed my eyes, saw his smiling face in that photo, surrounded by students who might never hear him play again. Tell them I want to help. Not with money, with evidence. You sure about this? Once we start, I'm sure. I opened my eyes, watched my mother's figure disappear into a taxi. It's time they learned what real consequences feel like. 3 days after my confrontation with Mom, Dad showed up at my office. My assistant tried to stop him, but he bulldozed past her, face flushed with what I assumed was a combination of anger and his usual afternoon drinks. We need to talk, he announced, closing my office door. I didn't look up from my computer. I'm working. Your brother's facing 10 years. He slumped into the chair across from my desk. 10 years, Vivian. Does that mean nothing to you? Now I looked up. It means he did something worth 10 years in prison. For God's sake, he's 27. His whole life will be ruined. What about Emmett's life? I turned my monitor around, showing him the latest update from the hospital. Permanent nerve damage in both hands. Career destroyed. But I guess that doesn't matter to you. Dad's face darkened. You've always been like this. Cold. Calculating. Even as a kid, I was cleaning up Jackson's messes. I pulled out my phone, scrolled to a photo. Remember this? The image showed Dad's prized motorcycle, crumpled against our old garage door. Jackson was 16. That's ancient history, Dad muttered. You made me give up my college fund to fix it. Said it was my fault for distracting him while he was showing off. I had to take out extra student loans because of that. Loans I just finished paying off last year. We were protecting him. No, you were enabling him. And now a man might never play piano again because of it. Dad leaned forward, his voice dropping to a harsh whisper. You think you're so perfect? You think you never needed protecting? What about that time in high school when you— When I what? I interrupted. Got drunk and totaled your truck? Oh, wait. That was Jackson, too. He just blamed me. And you believed him without question. You're twisting things. Am I? I pulled up Jackson's Instagram. Look at this. Posted the night of the crash. The video showed Jackson, clearly drunk, jangling my car keys. Borrowed Sis's sweet ride. Time to show these losers how to party. Dad's face went pale. Delete that. Can't. It's evidence now. Evidence? His voice rose. You're collecting evidence against your own brother? No, I'm collecting truth. There's a difference. My phone buzzed. A text from Jackson. Hey sis, saw Dad heading to your office. Don't listen to his guilt trip BS. I know you'll handle this like always. You're the best. I showed Dad the text. See? He's not even worried. He thinks I'll handle this like always. Fix it. Pay for it. Cover it up. Because that's what family does. No, I said quietly. That's what enablers do. Dad stood up so fast his chair toppled backward. You coward. You ungrateful little— Security will escort you out if necessary. He stared at me, and for a moment I saw something crack in his expression. Fear, maybe? Or the first real understanding that he couldn't control this situation. You'll regret this, he said, but his voice shook. When he's in prison, when our family is destroyed, save it. Mom already gave me that speech. After he left, I sat there shaking until my phone buzzed again. A message from Joanna. Jackson's telling everyone you promised to fix everything. But I found something else. He took videos that night, bragging about taking the car. I saved them before he deleted them. Want them? I typed back. Yes. And Joanna? Thank you. Another buzz. Jackson again. Yo, sis, the lawyer you're paying for kinda sucks. Can we get a better one? Money's no object since you're covering it, right? I stared at his message, remembering all the times he'd sent similar texts. Money for rent. Money for bills. Money for mistakes. Always with that same entitled confidence that I'd handle it. My phone rang. Allison. The prosecutor wants to meet, she said without preamble. They're interested in your evidence about the pattern of behavior. And Vivian? Emmett's awake. My heart stopped. How is he? Can't feel his fingers. Doctor says he might regain some function with therapy, but... She paused. He asked about you. Asked why you're helping his case. What did you tell him? The truth. That you're choosing right over easy. Speaking of which, Jackson just posted another story. You should see this. I opened Instagram. There was my brother, looking annoyed but unworried, captioned, Haters trying to bring me down, but family's got my back. Ride or die, right sis? I took a screenshot, added it to my evidence folder, and typed back 3 words that would change everything. Not this time. The coffee shop was nearly empty when Joanna slid into the booth across from me. She looked tired, her usually perfect makeup smudged at the corners. I brought everything, she said, pulling out her phone. But Jackson doesn't know I'm here. If he finds out... He won't, I assured her. Not from me, she nodded, then started scrolling through her gallery. These are from the night of the crash. He was at Murphy's bar first. The videos played one after another. Jackson, progressively drunker, bragging about borrowing my car. Jackson, keys in hand, laughing about how he'd liberated the SUV from our parents' garage. Jackson slurring his words. Big sis won't mind. She never does. There's more, Joanna said quietly. From other nights. He did this a lot. How long? I asked. How long has he been taking the car? Months. Since January, at least. Your parents knew. They'd laugh about it, say you'd never notice because you were too busy with work. My hands clenched around my coffee cup. Did they know he was driving drunk? Joanna's eyes filled with tears. Everyone knew. It was like a joke to them. Jackson's joyrides, they called it. I tried to stop him once, but he just laughed and said his sister would fix any problems, and now someone might never play piano again. I know. She wiped her eyes. That's why I'm here. I love Jackson. Part of me still does. But this is wrong. My phone buzzed. A text from Mom. Your father's drinking again. This is your fault. If you'd just helped your brother... I switched my phone to silent and turned back to Joanna. What else do you have? She pulled up more photos, more videos. Jackson bragging about near misses with other cars. Jackson racing down residential streets. Jackson and my parents, laughing about borrowing the SUV while I was at work. The timestamp on this one, I pointed. It's from the afternoon before the crash. Joanna nodded. He was already drinking then. Your mom even offered to make him coffee to sober up before he drove home. But he went back out later. To prove he could. Someone at the bar said he shouldn't drive, and you know how he gets when people tell him no. I did know. I'd been cleaning up after those moments my entire life. My phone lit up again. Jackson this time. Hey sis, heard you met with the prosecutor? What's up with that? Mom's freaking out. Call me. Joanna saw the message. He still doesn't get it, does he? No, I said. He doesn't. She hesitated, then pulled up one last video. This is from right before the crash. I didn't want to watch it again, but you should see it. The video played. Jackson, barely able to stand, waving my car keys. Gonna show these losers how to really drive, he slurred. Don't worry. If anything happens, my sister's loaded. She'll fix it like always. In the background, I could hear my mother laughing. My father's voice. That's my boy. 10 minutes later, Emmett Garcia's life changed forever. I'm so sorry, Joanna whispered. I should have stopped him. Should have called someone. You're stopping him now, I said. That counts for something. My phone buzzed again. Allison. Prosecutor wants to meet tomorrow. Bring everything you have. I looked at Joanna. The prosecutor will want to talk to you. She straightened her shoulders. I know. I'm ready. Jackson won't forgive you. Maybe not. But I won't forgive myself if I stay quiet. As if on cue, both our phones lit up. Jackson had posted a new Instagram story. Family means loyalty. Blood over everything. Some people gonna learn that the hard way. Joanna's hands shook as she showed me her screen. He's been posting threats like this all week. Mostly about you. I know. I pulled up my own collection of screenshots. And I'm saving everyone. What happens now? Now? I gathered my evidence. The videos, the photos, the texts spanning months of deliberate recklessness. Now we tell the truth. All of it. They'll hate us, Joanna said softly. They already hate anyone who doesn't enable them. I stood up, gathering my things. But maybe that's not such a bad club to be in. As we left the coffee shop, my phone lit up one last time. A message from Emmett's lawyer. Your brother's looking at serious time. Your parents could face charges for enabling. Last chance to back out. I typed back 2 words. Keep going. The prosecutor's office was colder than I expected. Detective Rivera spread the evidence across her desk, while the prosecutor, Ms. Hayes, reviewed my statement. This is comprehensive, Hayes said, looking up. You documented everything. I'm a project manager, I replied. Documentation is what I do. Rivera pointed to a series of texts. Your parents were aware of his drunk driving? They enabled it, joked about it. Here. I pulled up a video from Joanna. This is from 2 weeks before the crash. The video played, my parents laughing as Jackson grabbed my car keys, clearly intoxicated. Mom's voice calling out, "Drive safe, sweetie," followed by more laughter. Hayes made notes. And the vehicle ownership? Registered to me. Insurance in my name. They weren't supposed to let him drive it. That was our agreement when I bought it. Because of his previous DUI. Previous DUI? Rivera leaned forward. We don't have that on record. You wouldn't. They paid off the officer. I have the bank transfers to prove it. A knock at the door interrupted us. Another detective entered, looking grim. Emmett Garcia's doctor just called. The nerve damage is permanent. He'll never regain full use of his hands. The room went quiet. I thought about Emmett's students, the lives he'd touched through music. All ended because my brother couldn't call a cab. Ms. Barnes, Hayes said carefully, you understand what this means? With your evidence, we're not just looking at charges against your brother. Your parents could face accessory charges. I understand. They're your family, Rivera said softly. Are you sure? The door burst open. My father stumbled in, reeking of alcohol, my mother right behind him. There you are, Mom shrieked. How dare you? How dare you do this to us? Security moved to intercept them, but Hayes held up a hand. Let them speak. Dad lurched forward. We raised you, put food in your mouth, clothes on your back, and this is how you repay us? By telling the truth? I stood up. Yes, that's exactly how I'm repaying you. Truth? Mom laughed hysterically. The truth is, you're jealous of your brother. Always have been. You're trying to destroy him because he destroyed someone else's life? I nodded to Hayes. Show them. Hayes played the video from the night of the crash. They watched, faces draining of color, as their own voices encouraged their drunk son to drive. That's not, Dad stammered. Not what? Not what it looks like? That's the problem, Dad. It's exactly what it looks like. Mom started crying. Her signature move. He's your brother. Your own flesh and blood. And what about Emmett? I pulled up his photo. He has family too. People who love him. Students who needed him. But you don't care about destroying their lives, do you? We thought you'd protect us, Dad whispered. You always protected us. Not anymore. Hayes cleared her throat. Mr. and Mrs. Barnes, I'm charging your son with felony DUI causing serious bodily injury. And based on this evidence, you're both being charged as accessories. You can't! Mom lunged at me, but security caught her. You evil, ungrateful. Take them out, Hayes ordered. As they were led away, my father turned back. We're your parents, he said, voice breaking. Your family. No, I met his eyes. You're enablers who happened to raise me. There's a difference. After they were gone, Hayes gathered the evidence. The DA will want to move quickly. Are you prepared for what comes next? I thought about Emmett, about Joanna, about years of cleaning up messes that were never mine. Yes, I said. I'm ready. My phone buzzed. Jackson had posted again. Family betrayal hits different. Watch your back, sis. I handed the phone to Rivera. Add that to the evidence. He's been making threats all week. We'll handle it, she assured me. You did the right thing. Outside the prosecutor's office, I found Allison waiting. Your mom called me again, she said, screaming about betrayal and family loyalty. What did you tell her? That loyalty goes both ways, and that some families don't deserve it. My phone lit up with another message, this one from Emmett's lawyer. He wants to meet you, says he has questions only you can answer. I looked at Allison. Will you come with me? She squeezed my hand. Every step of the way. Behind us, I could hear my mother's sobs echoing down the hallway, my father's angry protests. But for the first time in my life, their voices didn't have any power over me. I was free. The courthouse steps were crowded with reporters when Jackson's sentencing date arrived. I stood at the back, watching my brother being led in wearing an orange jumpsuit, his usual swagger replaced by shuffling steps. My parents huddled together nearby, both looking decades older than they had just months ago. Dad had lost his city contracts after the story broke. Mom's church friends had quietly distanced themselves. Their carefully constructed image of the perfect family had shattered. Joanna appeared beside me, clutching a folder. The prosecutor wants me to testify about the videos. Are you ready? She nodded. Jackson's lawyer tried to convince me not to. Offered money. Let me guess. Money that would supposedly come from me? He still thinks you'll swoop in at the last minute. Save him like always. Inside the courtroom, I saw Emmett for the first time since the crash. He sat in the front row, his once nimble hands resting uselessly in his lap. His mother helped him adjust his position, and the simple gesture made my throat tight. The judge entered, and the proceedings began. The prosecutor presented the evidence, my videos, Joanna's testimony, the documentation of years of enabled behavior. Jackson's lawyer tried to paint it as a one-time mistake, but the evidence was overwhelming. Then Emmett took the stand. I taught piano for 15 years, he said quietly. Not just lessons. I helped kids find their voice, their confidence. Music was my language. He held up his damaged hands. Now I can barely hold a cup of coffee. Jackson wouldn't meet his eyes. My parents stared at the floor. The defendant's sister provided crucial evidence, the prosecutor said. Would you like to address her? Emmett turned to me. Thank you, he said simply, for choosing truth over comfort. My mother made a small, wounded sound. Then it was Jackson's turn. He'd traded his usual t-shirt and jeans for a suit that looked borrowed. His voice shook. I'm sorry, he said, but he was looking at our parents, not at Emmett. I never meant for this to happen. I always thought, That your sister would fix it? The prosecutor interrupted. Like she fixed everything else? Jackson's face crumpled. For the first time, he looked his age. Not the eternal teenager our parents had protected, but a grown man facing consequences. The judge's voice cut through the tension. 10 years. No possibility of early parole. My mother started sobbing. Dad looked like he'd been shot. Jackson turned to me, finally meeting my eyes, his expression a mix of betrayal and desperate plea. But I had no more fixes to offer. Outside reporters swarmed my parents. How do you respond to charges of enabling your son's behavior? What about the evidence your daughter provided? Is your family divided forever? Mom spotted me through the crowd. You, she screamed. You did this. You destroyed our family. No, Mom. I stayed calm as cameras swung toward us. You did that. Every time you chose enabling over accountability. Every time you made me clean up his messes instead of letting him face consequences. He's your brother, Dad shouted. And Emmett was someone's son, someone's teacher, someone who didn't deserve to have his life destroyed because you couldn't say no to your precious boy. Security moved between us as Mom tried to reach me, her manicured nails clawing the air. We'll never forgive you. Never. I know, I said. I forgive myself. That's enough. Later that evening, my phone filled with voicemails. Mom, alternating between threats and tearful pleas. Dad, drunk and rambling about family loyalty. Jackson from jail, begging me to appeal, to hire better lawyers, to fix it one last time. I deleted them all. Allison called as I was leaving the courthouse. You okay? No, I admitted. But I will be. Emmett's lawyer called. They're filing a civil suit against your parents for enabling. They'll probably lose everything. I thought about my childhood home, filled with things I'd paid for. The car I'd bought them. The bills I'd covered. The life they'd built on my reluctant generosity. They already lost everything, I said. They just don't know it yet. A final text came through, from Joanna. Jackson's asking me to convince you to help. I blocked his number. Good for you, I replied. The sun was setting as I walked to my car. Behind me, the courthouse doors closed on my family's comfortable lies. Ahead lay uncertainty, probably more drama, definitely more pain. But also freedom, and that was worth everything. My phone buzzed one last time. Mom again. Please, sweetheart. We can still be a family. Just help us fix this. I turned off my phone and drove home, leaving their problems exactly where they belonged, with them. The moving truck pulled away from my parents' house, carrying the last of their possessions. They'd lost the civil suit, lost their home, lost everything except what they could fit in their small rental apartment. I watched from my car across the street, not hiding, not approaching, just witnessing. My phone rang. Emmett's number. The scholarship fund is ready, he said. We've already received applications from 3 students who couldn't afford lessons. After the civil suit, I'd established a music scholarship in Emmett's name. Not out of guilt, but because something good should come from all this pain. How are the new teaching methods working? I asked. Better than expected. Despite everything, his voice held hope. I can't play like before, but I can still teach theory, composition. The adaptive technology helps. It's different, but it's something. A tap on my car window startled me. Mom stood there, looking thin and tired, her designer clothes replaced by department store basics. I rolled down the window. I'm not giving you money. I know. She wrung her hands. I saw you sitting here. Saying goodbye to the house? Trying to understand. She looked at her feet. How did we get it so wrong, Vivienne? You really want to know? She nodded. Get in. She hesitated, then walked around and slid into the passenger seat. I put my phone on speaker. Emmett, my mother's here. Would you mind telling her about your students? He was quiet for a moment. The ones I can't teach anymore? Or the ones who lost their music scholarships when I couldn't work? Mom flinched. Both, I said. He told her. About Maria, who'd been preparing for Juilliard. About Tommy, whose single mom had scraped together lesson money for years. About dreams deferred, talent stunted, all because Jackson couldn't call a taxi. Mom started crying. Real tears this time, not her usual performance. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I'm so sorry." "I know," Emmett said. "But sorry doesn't give me back my hands." After we hung up, Mom stared at the house. Her house, once. "Your father's drinking again," she said. "Worse than before. He blames you." "Of course he does. I did too for a while. But then I found this." She pulled out her phone, showed me an old photo. "Remember?" It was me at 16, holding a trophy from the science fair. In the background, Jackson was making faces, trying to ruin the photo. "You worked so hard on that project," Mom said. "But we left your ceremony early because Jackson had a baseball game. We always left early, didn't we? Always chose him." "Yes. And now he calls from prison, still asking for money, still expecting us to fix everything." She put the phone away. "We raised a monster, didn't we?" "You raised 2 children," I corrected. "You just never noticed the one who didn't cause problems." Dad appeared on the front steps, swaying slightly. When he saw us, his face darkened. "We should go," Mom said quickly. He's not good when he drinks now." "When was he ever?" She touched my arm, the first genuine gesture I could remember in years. "I understand now why you did it. We deserve this. It was never about deserving. It was about consequences. Will you ever forgive us?" I looked at her, this woman who'd shaped my life with her choices, her enabling, her selective blindness. "I forgive you for what you did to me," I said finally, "but I'm not the one who lost their hands." She nodded, stepped out of the car. Dad was shouting something now, stumbling down the steps. "Mom," she turned back, "get help. Real help. Not for Jackson, not for Dad. For you." "I will." She straightened her shoulders. "Goodbye, Vivian." I watched them leave, Mom walking ahead, Dad trailing behind, their shadows long in the setting sun. Then I called Joanna. "Just left my parents' house," I said. "The final move out. How do you feel?" I thought about Emmett's scholarship fund, about Mom's moment of clarity, about the weight lifting from my shoulders. "Free," I said. "I feel free." "Good." She paused. "Jackson wrote again. Asked me to beg you for appeal money." "What did you say?" "Nothing. Some bridges should stay burned." I started my car, took one last look at the house where I'd learned all the wrong lessons about love and loyalty. "You know what, Joanna? Some bridges should never have been built in the first place." I drove away, leaving the past where it belonged, behind me, growing smaller in my rearview mirror with every mile. I didn't burn the bridge. I built the road out, and I never looked back.